Good evening. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. The date is February 7th, 2017. It is now 5:30 in the afternoon. Before we begin, please silence your cell phones. And here's the order of the agenda for tonight. The invocation will be performed for us by Mr. Josh Oberman from the Grace Lutheran Church. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Ashley Fluke, our agricultural research teacher. National Anthem will be performed by Paola Mendez, a senior from Celebration High School. Our mission statement shall be declared by Melanie Stefanowitz, the Executive Director of our CTE. Translation services will be provided by Dalia Medina and her staff. At this moment, I would ask everyone to please rise for our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, your Son has declared that the greatest act of love is to lay down our lives for one another and sacrifice for one's friends. Tonight, let us live out that sacrifice of love for one another and the children of our schools as we sacrifice for them in their future. We pray your blessing upon our schools, our teachers, our custodians, our lunch prepare teams, and all who serve in those capacities. We pray for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You may be seated.
It is the mission of the School District of Osceola County to inspire all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Dalia Medina. I'm here to provide translation services. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Dalia Medina. Estoy aquí para proveer servicio de traducción. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. So we come to the comments from the board. Mr. Wheeler, if you would.
Yes, I would like to congratulate Celebration High School's girls basketball team for being the OBC champs, boys soccer team for being OBC champs. I'd also like to thank Career and Technical Education for the wonderful spread they put out for us just now. That was very nice. I'd like to thank Dana Schaefer and her staff and the entire board and Dr. Pace for the great job they did for the state of education. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will pass it along. Thank you.
Well spoken, Mr. Wheeler. Ricky Booth.
Yeah, I will also want to extend thanks to Dana and Ruben for the great videos. Got a lot of positive response from what we did there. So thank you guys. Had a chance today, actually. Most of you probably don't want to know this, but I went and got my physical today, and I only bring that up because I went and did it at the employee health care clinic, and it was a great experience. I used the clinic. Also, my daughter sprained her ankle last week, and I took her there and had a great experience. So everybody was nice, fantastic, moved right along, and so it was a great experience, and I'm glad that's working out. Where am I at? Hosted St. Cloud Middle School. I guess it's our ag unit. Since we're CTE night, we had a youth ag day, and we got to host that at the Doc Parton Ranch, and we were glad to have those folks out there. Want to thank Mr. Evans. He's a fantastic teacher. If you haven't met him, from St. Cloud Middle School. Want to thank Ashley Fluke for putting that together. Want to thank the Harmony High School video team for coming out and videoing the experience. So I think it was great for the kids. I know we've got Rocco here. I'm going to let him do his Rocco, right? That's the right name? Okay. So I'll let him do his thing about the fair. And I had that wrote down. I'm going to cross that off. I'll let them do their deal. But I did want to talk a little bit about the rodeo. I'll be at the fair. I've got kids, and we've got the show. If you want to come and buy a show steer, Nellie and Natalie Booth. No, I'm just I'm sorry. We have our rodeo coming up this weekend. We'll have a bull riding. Next weekend we'll have the full rodeo. We're going to celebrate Rodeo Day here in Osceola County, and as long as I'm on the board, I hope that this will continue, or I'll fight for it to continue, because I think that's part of what makes us so unique. But I did want to say, mention somebody, because each year the Silver Spurs Club gives out a special award, a Lifetime Achievement Award. They call it the Coca-Cola Cowboy. And one of the recipients this year was Clyde Wells' father, Mr. Preston, and give a very prestigious award. And we had a great banquet, had a lot of people there, and a lot of folks speaking real highly of Mr. Wells. So I just wanted to congratulate him publicly and for that. And last but not least, it was Celebrate Literacy Week. I don't know, last week or the week before. I went and read at St. Cloud Middle School, and it was homeroom, 7:30 in the morning. I decided this time not to read a fiction novel or anything like that. I decided to read a page out of George Washington's farewell address, because I think it's an extremely relevant document for a lot of reasons. The kids were riveted. You should have seen them. They were so excited that I was reading that. No, not really at all. But just as you all are with my positive comments tonight. I'm almost done, I promise. But I wanted to read to you a quote from this document and really encourage you, in all seriousness, to go take a look at this document. One of the things he does in the document is talk about the dangers of hyperpartisanship, which I think is kind of where we're at right now. And I know we've kind of been here before, in and out, but George Washington talks about that in this document. It's fascinating. But he also says something about education, which I thought was very important. He says, promote then, as an object of primary importance, institutions for the general diffusion of knowledge. In proportion as the structure of a government gives force to public opinion, it is essential that public opinion should be enlightened. So if you're going to comment on social media, know what you're talking about, I think is what George Washington was saying, don't you think?
I'm like you. It's a living document, man.
With that, and I'll wrap up, I want to thank everybody who came out and read to the students, whether it was at an elementary, middle, or high school, and celebrated Literacy Week. I appreciate I know that we had hundreds of volunteers and guest readers across the district, and I want to thank everybody that took time to do that. All right, I'm done.
Well said, Mr. Booth. Other than to thank everyone for their kind words regarding the video that was shown, I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll build on that and be even more entertaining the next year. It would have been Clarence Tacker's turn, but he delivered a note to the superintendent as being absent, so this is excused. And Tim? She granted excused absent.
I had some prepared remarks, but Mr. Booth took all my time, so I guess I'll just pass it on. No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, very well. And Dr. Pace?
Just very, very quickly, I do want to again commend our CTE programs and the wonderful students at TICO for the snacks that they prepared for our guests that are here this evening from SIMEU and others, as well as compliment our fine art students. I've had the opportunity over the last 2 weeks to attend the All-County Chorus, All-County Orchestra, and All-County Jazz concerts, and it's just amazing to see the tremendous talent there. But we know that that is not possible without very dedicated and committed teachers, principals, parents, and staff members supporting them. So I want to thank them for that. And then just make sure that we don't forget that in addition to it being CTE month and Literacy Week, it is also National School Counseling Week. So we want to thank all of our guidance counselors in our schools for the wonderful service that they provide to our students and their families.
Amen.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pace. So, folks, we're now to the presentation portion of our agenda. Some very, very good stuff coming up. We'll begin with our presentation on Semi-High Tech U by Leslie Tugman, our Executive Director of the Semi Foundation, SEMI.
And Ms. Stavanovitz,
And
Melanie
Mr.
is going to introduce her. Really excited to share with you as a board and also with our community this afternoon an exciting opportunity that we have planned in partnership with Bridge, the Florida Corridor, as well as our Education Foundation. So, Melanie?
Good evening, Chairman Soto, Board, Superintendent Pace. I'm super excited to share with you today as we kick off CTE Celebration Month, an opportunity that we are bringing to the school district for our students and teachers. I want to give you a brief reminder of the background of the engineering programs that we have in the district. This year we kicked off the Project Lead the Way launch programs in our elementary schools, and to this date we have touched about 1,400 students with that program. You may recall that we have the Project Lead the Way Gateway program in all of our middle schools, and at the semester break, we had touched 1,500 students. In our high school engineering programs, we have about 1,200 students enrolled, and that's who we'll touch for the course of the school year. As you may be aware, we are working to foster a talent pipeline in this district, and so we have the students start in elementary, they follow it through in middle school, they see it through in high school, and we hope that they leave with industry certification, they pursue post-secondary as appropriate, and eventually decide to come back and live and work in our local industries, particularly Neo City in this particular instance, in the Bridge program, So briefly, Leslie Tugman is here. I'm going to bring her up in a moment, but Semi-High Tech U provides immersive career and technical exploratory programs for our students over a 3-day period, but it also provides a unique professional development component that shows teachers how to connect what they're teaching in the classroom to the actual careers that students would be interested in pursuing. Before I go any further, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge our partnership. This program is being brought to our school district by a combined partnership with the Florida High Tech Corridor. And if I can, I'd like to invite Mr. Berridge up to speak very briefly as to their involvement. And then following Mr. Berridge, I'll have Kathy Carr. I'm going to step aside, sir.
Mr. Chairman, board members. Frank, good to see you, sir. Carter's been around for 21 years. We're an economic development initiative of 3 great universities. UCF, President John Hitt, USF, President Judy Genshaft, and UF, President Kent Fox, are the co-chairs of the Carter and my 3 bosses. Officially, I retired last Wednesday. There are some friends in the room, including Fran Karozik and Frank Krupenbacher, that say these are not exactly retirement clothes. We're around to help the state attract, retain, and grow high-tech industry and the workforce to support it. So in the meeting that we had, thanks to Fran, the idea that our corridor could do a partnership, Fran's pretty tough to say no to. So I suggested 20,000. He said it should be more like 40,000. I said I'll have to do it over a 2-year period. We're a state fiscal ending in June 30th. You all end in October, so it works very well that I can use 2 fiscal periods and meet my commitment. Superintendent Pace, to the breakfast meeting we had. We're honored to be part of this great effort. The idea of sharing with students what it's like to work in a high-tech environment. And if I could bring this home, early in my AT&T, 30 years at AT&T, I had the honor for 3 years to run a semiconductor manufacturing facility. So this is kind of near and dear to our heart in many ways. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
the foundation is really honored to get to be a part of this. I've had the pleasure of spending several days with your team here at the district and with Leslie and Fran. And the foundation is just so excited. As you know, we've been very, very involved in career planning with our other pipeline projects. So I'm so excited. I had a meeting a while ago with the superintendent and Dr. Fritz, and Dr. Fritz said, you know, Kathy, this is going to be the third pipeline area. We have medical and construction, and now with the bridge coming, we're preparing all these kids that we've been giving scholarships to all these years who leave our community. Now they're going to have a place to be and be able to make Osceola County their home. And so I'm so delighted to be part of sharing this wonderful technology to our students.
Thank you.
We have Fran Korosek, who's the director from the Bridge Program.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. So Bridge is the sensor initiative, and I know all of you know that, but for those that don't. So in the next 10 years, Bridge, the sensor initiative, and the companies that it intends to attract to this community have the opportunity to create 5,000 high-tech jobs in this community with an additional 20,000 jobs in the indirect mode supporting those new people, those new positions in this community. Where are we going to get that workforce from? This is one program of many that you will see from a workforce development standpoint that Bridge will support. And we thank you for the opportunity to launch this program of Semi-High-Tech University here in Osceola County School District. Thank you.
So it is these partnerships that are making this program possible in our school district. Well, we'll be able to serve this year 30 students and 30 to 40 teachers in this program. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Leslie Tugman from Semi Foundation.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to meet with your team. But before we start, if I might, I would just like to thank you so much for the young woman that sang the Star-Spangled Banner. That was really breathtaking, so thank you. I'd like to talk to you about my favorite thing in the world. I have a lot of passion for this. I like to say that I have the best job in the world, although several people working for the district would disagree and say they do. My job is to bring high-tech career experiences to high school students, and we do that through our flagship program called Semi-High-Tech U, and I believe all of you have our annual report in front of you. And don't really want you to read it right now, but I would attract your attention to the centerfold, which does focus on some of our past students. Where are they now, and what have they accomplished with their lives as a result of attending Semi-High-Tech U? And I think you'll see that we've accomplished our goal of having them graduate college, get a STEM degree, and end up working in a STEM career. So before I talk a little bit about the particulars, I want to sort of remind you about why we're here and some of the things that Melanie alluded to, and that's this great workforce development pipeline that our country and this region is facing. Couple of statistics. 10,000 people every day reach the age of 65 and therefore retirement, right? So if you are a baby boomer, you are facing that. You're one of the 10,000 every day that are looking at retiring. A baby boomer is someone who was born between the years of 1946 and 1964. Anybody here? Yeah, I know. So we're creating a huge vacuum. There is a big space in that workforce development pipeline. We have Gen X's, we have millennials coming up behind us, but moreover, we have a talent workforce here in our high schools. We have high school age students coming up. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the challenges they are facing. A lot of numbers get thrown at you folks every day. College enrollment is declining. It's at about 60% right now. It's been declining for the past 10 years. Employers tell us every day that they're concerned about the lack of skills in applicants that come to their door looking for jobs. They lack social skills and quite often the remedial basic math and science skills to apply for jobs in a technical field. So schools are asked to overhaul, to do a better job, and we have the wherewithal, we have the will to do it. We certainly have the raw talent. So how can we do a better job in working with our kids? I would like to point you to a couple of students that we worked with through Semi-High-Tech U and introduce you to Brandon and Ayat. We met them about 10 years ago in one of our very first semi-high-tech U programs. Both of them, I think, are typical of teenagers in high school these days. Both were plenty smart. They have the intelligence, they have the drive, but they were confused about what the career options were for them. What are the opportunities and what are the steps they need to take to create the educational pathway to reach those careers. So they didn't know what to do. I think one of the things that they struggle with is technology can appear geeky and not particularly a cool field to go into. Moreover, many women do not see role models in this field today, so we want to work with that. We took Brandon and Ayat through two different semi-high-tech U programs, one in Arizona and one in Oregon. As a result, they both tell us today that they feel it impacted their lives tremendously in terms of providing focus, explaining educational pathways necessary to reach a career goal. Both of them have now graduated college and are working in a STEM field. Brandon is now a product engineer for Tektronix in Hillsboro, and Ayat is working for Arizona State University, where she graduated and is in product or software development. She also teaches coding to at-risk young women in her community. So really giving back. And these students, of course, have done what we have set out to do. They've graduated high school, they graduated college with a STEM degree, and now they're working in a STEM field. So I can go on and on, as you may be able to tell. I'm very passionate about this, but I'm going to show you a very short video that lets you see what this experience looks like. So I understand if we click the button, there we go.
Welcome to High Tech U, an internationally acclaimed career exploration program for high school students. This industry-driven course focuses on math, science, and engineering, and how they are applied to create the products and services delivered by the high-tech industry. Former Secretary of State Colin Powell met one-on-one with High Tech U grads. The world leader considers High Tech U essential to America's quest for technology leadership.
But we have very critical needs, and talent is really the key to our success. So the awareness that we can create early in people's high school careers is very important for them developing an interest and passion, and ultimately becoming part of the ecosystem that's vibrant and going to continue to be very important as we go forward.
Technology is a global industry, and that's why we're delivering semi-high-tech U around the world. The United States, Singapore, Korea, Japan, the Netherlands, France, and Austria. The second they sit in their seat, they begin to see the relationship between what they learn in school and how that applies in the workplace.
I actually learned that the stuff we learn in chemistry class can be applied. You find out that you can do stuff with it.
That's the beauty of this high-tech university, because you can actually see science in an industry, in a future profession that they might have.
I already knew I wanted to be an engineer, but after High Tech U, I knew that I was going to be an engineer. After seeing the presentations and everything, it fits for me, and that's just what I like to do.
So the relevance of the semi-high-tech U is that it gets our students so excited about learning science and math. And then the teachers and the school counselors go back and encourage our students to take STEM classes and the career and technical education coursework.
At Semi-High-Tech U, we have 3 desired behaviors we're trying to reinforce with the students. Number 1, be a good team player. Number 2, have a positive attitude. And number 3, demonstrate an interest and aptitude in high tech.
High Tech U gives students an opportunity to do experiential learning in an environment where it's actually fun to do this. They enjoy working in teams, there's laughter, there's seriousness at the right time. It's a relaxed but yet focused atmosphere.
Sponsored and hosted by state-of-the-art high technology companies, High Tech U's 3-day course is taught by industry professionals.
From the edge, that power into the aluminum.
On day 1, the students engage hands-on in the actual day-to-day workings of high-tech companies.
In High Tech U, all of our activities are focused on teams, and that just emulates the workplace. The students work together, they learn how to interact with each other and with the other teams.
In the Statapult lab, koosh balls and hacky sacks fly, Students work with a mix of medieval technology and modern statistics to learn how math and science integrate in semiconductor design. With the human calculator exercise, students step inside the workings of a semiconductor, using a format to represent the flow of electrons inside of a chip. Students make snap decisions to simulate the translation of binary information into a numeric phrase. To prepare for joining the workforce, students participate in mock interviews with industry professionals.
I've never applied for a job before, so I didn't know what it was like to go to a job interview. I think it'll help me be less nervous in a real life interview, and it will help me better myself so that when it comes to a real interview, I can get the job.
I think the Semi-High-Tech U program gave them confidence, gave them some skills, not just real technical skills, but it gave them team building skills. It gave them an opportunity to stand up in front of a group of people that they didn't know. They seem a little bit more confident, they seem a little bit more sure of themselves, and realize that maybe their education is a valuable piece of their life and that they'll become really invested in what's going on in their education.
When all of a sudden you see a light up in the student's face and all of a sudden they realize what you just had been teaching them and how it relates to their everyday life, and then maybe what it relates to the rest of their careers. It's neat.
So what'd you think?
It's great.
Pretty engaging, right? It's a really exciting experience to do this with the students. We also put on a 2-day program for teachers, so it's very similar with the same outcomes. Couple of numbers for you. We've so far delivered 205 programs in 11 states in the United States and 6 countries, so Germany, France, Austria, Singapore, and so forth. We've reached over 5,000 students, 1,200 educators, and engaged 759 industry volunteers. And I think that's the important point I want to bring home, is that every one of our modules, which we own and is hands-on STEM-based, is taught by people who work in industry. So a chemical engineer, for instance, presents the chemistry module. Students have a chance to meet someone face-to-face who does this for a living, so they can ask questions, they can be engaged, and see what it's like a day in the life of an engineer. So our industry partners are very, very important to what we do in terms of role models, access to industry skills, and bringing partnerships into the classroom for your teachers. We know that we make a difference, and I think all of you also have my impact report, which I won't ask you to read right now, but the numbers are very, very good. We had an independent study do a survey on what was the impact of the students that attended, and we came up with some very impressive numbers. 87% of the students that attend Semi-High-Tech U graduate or are in the process of completing college. Of those, 70% of them get a degree in STEM, in a STEM-related field. And the best part is that 70% of those graduates end up working in a STEM field, and that, after all, is our outcome. That is the goal we're looking for. As we explained, our students spend 3 days at High-Tech U. It's an intense, immersive experience at an industry site and 1 day at a university or college. So they get a lot of hands-on. We do involve the parents for an orientation evening. Day 1 is at an industry site for the hands-on activities. Day 2 is at our local college, and we were looking at UCF and have been invited to take the students there for the program in June. And then day 3 will be back at an industry site where we work on soft skills like critical thinking, problem-based learning, interviewing skills, and then all students get a one-on-one job interview with feedback. So very, very exciting. I do have an agenda here, which I think I'm going to skip through for time's sake, unless board members have a question about the particular agendas that we're considering. We've listed host company benefits here, but I think what we really want to say is what are the benefits to the school district. That is creating and nourishing relationships with industry, not only to take our students onto industry sites, but create relationships so that they send speakers back to the classroom. They donate supplies. We have a relationship where as industry's needs grow, we are keeping pace by a curriculum that readies our students. So that's really the rich ongoing outcome. Our partners provide the sites, the industry volunteers, and the financial support. SEMI Association and the SEMI Foundation then provides the turnkey program, the training, the materials, the curriculum, and the ongoing support. Just a look at some of our sponsors from just last year, remembering that we've been doing this for over a decade. We're very proud of our industry relationships and so happy with the people that we've met here through the high-tech corridor and the other relationships fostered. So thank you very much. And I will answer any questions you might have of me or the team that brought me here.
That was an excellent presentation.
Thank you so much.
Board?
Let Tim go first.
Oh, Tim?
First of all, thank you. I'm really glad that you took the time to be here, and we're certainly, I think I can speak for all of us, we're certainly grateful for the partnership with our school district, and we're excited about what's happening right here in our community, in our backyard, and the partnership that we can develop with you. I just from a functional standpoint, how are the students selected? How are we rolling this out, and where exactly is it going to be taking place?
Those are some logistics that Melanie and the team are finalizing. We did present the same information to our principals today to get them excited and making sure that we find the students. It typically works with sophomores and juniors from our high school programs. We're looking at some that already have some interest in perhaps a STEM field, but also ones that we can encourage and grow in that particular area. And it is something that we hope to repeat, but this will be the first time that the program is offered in Florida. Leslie is here this morning from Portland. And I believe it aligns very nicely with both Goal 1, our academic success goal to expand our STEM and career and college pathways, but also Goal 4, community engagement, because it's really going to get these industries into our schools, working with our students so that they can see some of the bright, young, talented minds that we have and also expand opportunities for our students then to go out.
I couldn't agree more, and I know that you've had a great reception from our staff and from our leadership. I know from our community, and I want you to know that we're sincerely grateful that you're here. We see this as a great partnership and a great opportunity to expand on what we're already doing throughout our district, but most importantly, what we plan to do here in our community with developing this high-wage, high-tech corridor. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
All right. Mr. Wheeler.
First off, I want to echo Mr. Weiser. Thank you for being here. This is very exciting. And this is probably a logistics question, but I'll ask it anyways, Dr. Pace. Do we have a target number of students we want to participate in the first year?
30.
And then is it going to be a 30 annual or 30 this year,
It's
60
typically
next year?
a 30 in each program, each core, but 30 this year, 30 new ones next year, and on from there, and between 20 and 40 teachers.
I guess that the only follow-up I would like to see from this is, out of those 30 students who participate, let's see if we can find one or two who will volunteer and share their thoughts on the experience afterwards. Thank you so much for being here. It's very exciting. Bring back all the new programs you can for our kids. We got the greatest kids in the world, so we got to need the best programs for them. Thank you, Melanie, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you also for the funding that was put in place to make this happen, as you pointed out earlier as well. We're very grateful for that.
Yeah. All right. Our next presentation, Ms. Dana Schaefer will present our Osceola County Fair and Kissimmee Livestock Show. If anybody was thinking about why we have a rooster present in our school board meeting, it is the year of the rooster.
You can get that training at Semi High Tech U.
It is year of the rooster.
It's not Chick-fil-A.
So throughout the year, you should be celebrating roosters. One of our favorite fowls. Dana, please.
Good evening. The Osceola County Fair and Kissimmee Valley Livestock Show has enjoyed a very long and important history for over 73 years with good food, fun, and most certainly events and activities that promote student learning. So here to tell you more are my friends Alex and Nick Malazzo, and of course our special guest Rocco.
Thank you.
Thank you, young man.
All
Good evening, Dr. Pace and school board members and members of the community. My name is Alex Malazzo. I am in 9th grade at Harmony High School. This is my brother, Nicholas Boggs. He is in 3rd grade at Harmony Community School. We are members of the Harmony Shorthorn 4-H Club. We would like to introduce you Rocco, the Osceola County Fair mascot.
All right.
The fair begins February 10th through February 19th. There are many new things coming to the fair this year. We would like to invite each of you and your family and friends to the 2017 Osceola County Fair. There are many Osceola County students, like my brother and I, who have been working hard all year. We will be showing market goats, hogs, breeding goats, and ducks. There are also many more animals and projects from other students. We would like you to know it is not just about showing animals. Students must have at least a 2.0 grade point average, submit record books from their market animals, and take written tests to participate in some of the events. Academics play an important part for all students. Along with the great events and displays, we hope you will make your visit to the exhibition hall to see the many programs on the stage, the crafts and displays from Osceola County Fair residents and students. Also, make sure you stop by the animal tents in the KBLS barn so we may share with you the great things we have accomplished. The fair is a very important part of the Osceola County heritage. Thank you for this opportunity tonight, so come and rock and roll with Rocco. Nick and I will be in the lobby if anyone would like information about the Osceola County Fair. Hope to see you there, and thank you.
Young lady, that was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Board. We got some comments here from Mr. Ricky Booth.
No, I made quick mention during my positive comments about the livestock market sales, and I joked about if you want to come buy a steer, I know 2 for sale. But just want you to know, and I'll give you those dates. This Friday is the hog show. Saturday night is the hog sale. You can buy a hog, and they will take it and get it harvested and make sausage, bacon, pork chops for you and bring it back to Kissimmee, and you can take it home and put it in your freezer. So do that. And then Saturday is the market steer, lamb. Do they sell the goats on this week?
The goat is this Friday too.
The goats and the hogs are this Saturday. Next Saturday is the steers and sheep and citrus trees. So if you need any of those things, if you need beef, pork, sheep, or a citrus tree, get out to the sales. Thank you, guys.
The chicken is lucky tonight.
The chicken's lucky. Yep.
And I just want to say, Nick, you get the award for Best Little Brother of the Night. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
Great job, guys.
All right, so what's next? Miss Dana Schaefer is going to introduce to us our 2016 Outstanding School Volunteers. Yay!
Good evening again. As you know, goal number 4 in the district's strategic plan revolves around community engagement. Our schools benefit tremendously from the time and talents of over 17,000 school volunteers who participate with our Oasis School Volunteer Program each year. The Florida Department of Education sponsors the statewide Outstanding School Volunteer Awards competition to recognize the many school volunteers who give of themselves unselfishly to help our students and our schools. This year, each school had the opportunity to nominate an outstanding volunteer in 3 categories: youth, adult, and senior. Osceola schools recognized 36 volunteers for the honor at the school level. Tonight, Robin Davis in our Oasis School Volunteer Office and I are extremely proud to recognize 3 very special volunteers who have been selected as District Volunteers of the Year in recognition of their outstanding service. Chairman Soto and Dr. Pace, would you join us down front to assist us with our presentation? Our District Youth Volunteer of the Year is Jesus Arroyo from Poinciana High. Is Jesus here? Is anybody here from Point Santa High? Okay, so I'm going to read you a little bit about Jesus because I think it's important for you to understand what Jesus means to us. Jesus Arroyos has become an invaluable part of the AVID program. He was an AVID student beginning in middle school, and now he's in 11th grade as a dual enrollment student at Valencia and at Point Santa High School. Although he has a full college course load, he chooses week after week to show up to Point Santa High School at 7 a.m. every Tuesday and every Thursday to volunteer as a cross-age tutor for the AVID elective class. Being a former AVID student, Jesus has reached out to volunteer every single week since school began. He impacts all 188 AVID students at Point Santa High, which is an integral part of the school's improvement plan. Throughout the day, he circulates through the AVID classes, providing support for those in upper-level science, math, and advanced placement courses. Jesus is a positive role model for the underclassmen and a constant source of positive motivation for his grade-level peers. The school says it will be difficult to imagine running the AVID program at Point Santa High without him, and he will surely help the school reach its goal of becoming an AVID national demonstration school within the next 2 years, and of which there's only 10 in the state of Florida. Administration and faculty at Point Santa High say that Jesus Arroyo is a pleasure to work with and an inspiration for all of their students. So congratulations to Jesus. Our district adult volunteer of the year is Laura DeJohn from Celebration K-8 School. We know that brains work better when nutrition is healthy and opportunities to move are included in the school day. Students at Celebration K-8 School have new opportunities for learning and play due to Laura's efforts. She has worked diligently to promote a healthy school environment. She won 8 grants totaling $21,000 to conduct school-based student health promoting initiatives. She was instrumental in the implementation of school wellness guidelines. She has created healthier celebrations, events, fundraisers, and awards. This includes repainting the lunchroom, providing 7 new floor activities for the recess area, an MBA Fit Clinic, a school-wide subscription to Adventures in Fitness, an indoor hydroponic garden, cafeteria equipment, a Wii console for brain breaks and classroom rewards, and Whole Foods and Fresh Market donations. Additionally, she has 8 more grants that are pending for an additional $17,000 for the school. Laura has created a menu of fun and healthy treats with a cafeteria manager, and she created the Treasure Chest for Healthy Kids and shares information on the Harvest of the Month program. In addition to all this, Laura is a member of the SAC, the PTO, and the Celebration K-8's Health Advisory Committee. Thank you for all that you've done. And finally, our district senior volunteer of the year is Mr. Thomas Bell from Osceola High School. Thomas Bell has been a fixture at Osceola High School since 1995 when he first started volunteering. Many employees at OHS think Coach Bell is actually an employee because he is at the school every day. He checks on the sports equipment, he checks on his student players, he checks with the athletic director to see where any help is needed. Coach Bell primarily works with both the football and soccer teams, and he treats all student players as if they were his own children. He is a mentor for students and monitors their grades and insists on grades first, sports last. Because of his efforts, his teams usually win the district's academic awards based on team grade averages. Coach Bell has paid for sports physicals for students who can't afford them, and not just for his teams, but for all the teams. For many years, he manned the grill at home football games, and he's currently training others to carry on his barbecue rib tradition. Last year, he postponed surgery because he had promised one of his students that he wouldn't miss a player's birthday party. Coach Bell is always about the students. Osceola High has numerous college graduates who return to help him as he has taught each of them to put others first. They all want to pay it forward. The code that Coach Bell lives by is to treat all students with love and respect. The students know that he is genuine. He's a life coach more than a sports coach. Osceola High has calculated that Coach Bell has volunteered approximately 24,150 hours since 1995. Thank you very much.
From Point Santa High? No?
Just a quick comment to say thank you to both of you, and as well the student that wasn't able to be here. We sincerely appreciate all that you do for our schools. And Mr. Bell, I want you to know that I appreciate, Tom, I want you to know I appreciate everything you do. And for those of you that don't know, the amount of service that Tom has provided makes perfect sense. He's also a military veteran who's given a tremendous amount for this country as well. And so service runs through his blood. And it does not surprise me as being recognized tonight. So thank you, Tom, for all you do.
Right. Next on our agenda is appointment and transfer. Dr. Pace? Oh, wait, whoa, yeah. We have Black History Month proclamation. Joella Lowe is our St. Cloud High School art teacher.
That's right. Miss Lowe could not be here tonight, so I won't be as excited as Miss Lowe is.
Good.
I will say though that after hearing Mr. Booth speak and seeing Rocco, I think I'm going to swing by Bonnie Lee's on the way home and get some chicken. So now, Mr. Booth, Mr. Booth had mentioned the document by George Washington. And as we celebrate Black History Month, and I'm going to go home and read that document tonight, and I'll report back, Mr. Booth. I challenge everybody here tonight and those listening to look up the following poem. And as we celebrate Black History Month, I'm just going to read the first stanza of a poem that I think is appropriate as much today as it was the day it was written. It's by Langston Hughes, and the poem is titled, "Let America Be America Again." Now, I'm not going to read the whole poem. It's much more powerful. If you do, I'll read the first stanza. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. Now, again, I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I challenge everybody here tonight to go ahead and read it. Now, I'd like to introduce some Bulldogs here tonight. I'd like to first introduce Mr. Danny Thompson, teacher at St. Cloud High School. He'll be spearheading the events as we celebrate Black History Month. And then reading the proclamation tonight, I'd like to introduce Aljuni Antoine, who will read the proclamation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nate.
Good evening. Proclamation, Black History Month, February 1st through February 28th, 2017. Whereas February has been nationally designated as a time to recognize and celebrate the contributions of African Americans to our nation's culture and history. Whereas it is important to understand the different origins, culture, and heritage of all Americans. Whereas it is appropriate that all citizens reflect upon, cherish, and sustain the contributions that Black individuals, both past and present, have made to our nation. Maya Angelou, Lou Gossett Jr., Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall, and many more. Whereas such creative individuals have given their very best so that we may be sustained and inspired during hard times and encouraged to celebrate and rejoice during happy times. Now, therefore, Be it resolved that the School District of Osceola County, Florida, does hereby proclaim February as Black History Month.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ricky Booth, second by Mr. Wheeler. Discussion board.
Nope.
No? Well, I have just a few words. That was well read. And thank you for your very eloquent presentation of the proclamation. Mr. Fancher, I love your energy, especially for something like this. I mean, this is what Black History Month means for me personally. I will share with you. It's as a Puerto Rican born in New York, and always, we see a lot of the same things, a lot of the experience. The American experience is very similar in a lot of ways, but not entirely the same. And I recognize that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we come through some times that makes us question our faith on how people treat each other. But in the end, in the words of Langston Hughes, we have a lot to fight for because it's worth fighting for. And it is a great future ahead. There is enough America for everyone, and we should all be proud that we're all Americans together. Thank you again.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody else?
Good. No.
No?
You,
Okay.
you summed it up beautifully.
Vote.
Oh, yeah, we got to vote.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Now, appointment.
So now we come to appointments and transfer. Dr. Pace.
Yes, sir. Chairman Soto and members of the board, I am very excited tonight to bring forward some recommendations for some additions to our leadership team. As you know, we anticipate some upcoming retirements with Ms. Buckingham, our early childhood director, and Ms. Medina, our multicultural director, leaving us before the end of the school year, as well as we've had a couple of shifts on the leadership team and wanted to fill some key positions. I will tell you right up front that while effective dates will be very, very soon, there will be transitional periods as we won't want to be pulling people out of school buildings right here as we're in the last crush of preparation for testing. So as these people get ready to come up and perhaps be approved by the board, they'll understand they're wearing double hats for a little while, but we're excited to bring them forward. Going to start with my recommendation for our Executive Director for Multicultural Education. If I could ask Ms. Belinda Reyes to come to the podium, please. Belinda is actually a product of the Osceola County school system. She and her family moved here when I believe she was in the 5th grade from Puerto Rico. She has held the following positions. She started her career here as a media clerk at Ventura Elementary School, taught at St. Cloud High School, and then moved on to Orange County for administrative roles as a dean, an assistant principal, and currently serves as the executive area director for the North Learning Community for Orange County Public Schools. She received her bachelor's degree in English Language Arts Education from the University of Central Florida, a master's degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern, and she's had training through the National Institute for Urban School Leaders and School Turnaround Leaders at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. She's also currently a member of the, ALAS, remind me, Belinda.
ALAS, Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents.
Exactly, as she continues to learn and grow every day, and I am confident that she's going to continue to learn and grow and bring her knowledge and experience here to us in the school district of Osceola County.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, so there's a motion to approve by Mr. Weissire, second by Mr. Wheeler. Any discussion, board?
Welcome home.
Welcome. Yep.
Thank you. It's great to be home.
Excellent. All right, so all those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none? Nope. Okay.
Family.
Ms. Reyes, would you like to introduce your family here and say a few words? Yes.
Can I say something very quickly?
Absolutely.
I have to say, when I moved here in the 5th grade, prior to coming, my father was a chicken farmer in Puerto Rico. So when I saw a great big chicken in the middle of the boardroom, I thought, I've arrived home. I am home. I do want to thank, it's a village of educators, and my success is yours, as I am a proud bulldog. I saw some bulldogs here earlier. Part of that village is the administrators. I don't know if some former teachers would like me to say they were former teachers because, but Dr. Reinhardt, yes. And so I look around. She was a very young teacher. And so it's just been such a pleasure, and it does feel like home. I've seen so many friendly faces. I'm excited about the team I'll be working with. And I do want to share in some of that village because I had the pleasure of speaking today with Denise L.R. Para. And I adore her, and she's been part of my village since 11th grade. And I spoke to her today, and I know she couldn't be here. She's in Connecticut, but she's definitely here in spirit. Also part of my village are my husband, Alex, my daughter, Sophia, my sons, Vidal and Gabriel. Here I have my parents, Ruben and Virginia.
Stand up.
Oh, wow. All right.
Stand them up.
All right. Ruben and Virginia. My mother-in-law, Dialis, my sister-in-law, Sini. I have my brother, Carlos, and my son, who didn't stand up, Vidal. My village continues to grow. Also with me is a former colleague, Dr. Don Richardson. I have Yvette Cruz, who works in my office and has seen me grow from dean to executive area director. I have Karina Chanu, whom I call my second daughter. She's our senior administrator. And so until very soon, my boss, my mentor, and my friend, John Wright. So thank you so much for allowing me to recognize you.
Welcome.
Dr. Reinhardt, your influence is growing around here. See?
Should have stood up and was part of her village.
Yeah. And I
Next.
had Miss Para too.
Next, Chairman Soto, I'd like to bring forward to the board for recommendation Ms. Renee Clayton to join our middle school team as a Director of Secondary Curriculum and Instruction. Throughout her career, Ms. Clayton has held the following positions: teacher at Mill Creek Elementary, reading specialist at Mill Creek and Cypress, assistant principal at Pleasant Hill, principal of Pleasant Hill, principal of Celebration K-8, and most recently as the principal of assignment for District School Improvement Services and Leadership Development. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of Florida, a master's degree in the Reading K-12 certification from the University of Florida, and her ed specialist degree in educational leadership from National Louis. And I think we've talked her into signing up for the doctoral cohort, if
I
I'm
think
not
you have.
mistaken.
Oh.
So we're excited to bring Ms. Clayton forward for your approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right.
Discussion.
Motion by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Booth. Discussion?
I've gotten the chance to work very closely with Renee Clayton when she was principal at Celebration K-8 School. I'm going to tell a cute story that she doesn't know. Before she came, she succeeded Dr. Wayne Kennedy in their school uniforms. And my son was going there, and he wore a blue, we thought he was in uniform, a blue gator shirt to school. And Dr. Kennedy was a Seminole fan, and he wrote him up for him. My son wore the same gator shirt the year after when you were principal, and it was okay. So no, Renee is an exceptional educational leader, hardworking, and doesn't take excuses. And she came into a high-performing school and realized it wasn't performing high enough. So I'm thrilled that you've got this position. I'm stunned you're going to go for your doctorate, but I'm pleasantly surprised because we've had that conversation. And it's a great choice, Dr. Pace. I'm thrilled you're doing this, Renee.
For the comments board? No? Well then,
Congratulations.
let's take a vote. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? There's none. Vote passes 4-0. Congratulations.
Well, my family is not available to come tonight because my husband had an appointment, and I have two daughters that are in college and working also. One is going to be an educator, and she's in her junior year at UCF to be an elementary ed teacher, and the other one is going to be a nurse practitioner, and both of those have been inspired by the career pathways at St. Cloud High School. They were both in those technical programs and got hooked very quickly. So I appreciate, I'm not from Osceola County, but I have been here for 23 years. So it is my new home, and I'm breeding my own to come home. And I have been working most recently on assignment so closely with Michael Allen, so I am thrilled and excited to continue this work and not settle for good, but move to great in this journey supporting the middle schools as well as the rest of the district. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well said. Congratulations.
And next for your consideration, I'd like to invite Ms. Stacy Burdett to the podium. Board members, as Ms. Burdette comes to the podium, I am recommending her for our Director of Elementary Education. Throughout her career, Stacy's held the following positions: teacher at Jenkins Hill Elementary School in Harleyville, South Carolina, teacher at Williams Memorial Middle in St. George, South Carolina, teacher in Quincy and Havana, Florida, teacher at Highlands, dean at Highlands, assistant principal at Ventura, principal of Cypress, and most currently principal at Eastlake Elementary School. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from Bowling Green State and a master's degree in educational administration leadership from FSU.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion to approve by Mr. Weissier, second by Mr. Wheeler.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Stacy, I'm so excited you're taking it. First thing I asked Dr. Pace is, what are we going to do with who's going to take care of the kids at Eastlake? I know that you integrate technology. You're always excited. I've seen you at principal at Cypress. I've seen you principal here at Eastlake. You're a great choice by Dr. Pace. I know you'll do a great job, and I'm so excited for our kids. So.
Yeah, congratulations. The only bad part about this, I think Jay alluded to it, is what are we going to do at Eastlake?
Right.
Because you did such a fantastic job there, and I want to thank you for the work that you've done there, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I'm just excited to be on the pathway with Dr. Pace and Dr. Respis and the team for Good to Great, because it is a legacy that we're bringing to our community. And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to introduce my family.
Please.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
I don't know which way to go here. My family here is my uncle, Mr. Johnson, Darrell Johnson, and his wife, Mrs. Johnson, my aunt, Marcia, and my husband, Tim Burdette.
Who is that again?
Yeah, some of you might know him. And my son, Hunter Burdette, and his beautiful girlfriend, Kyra Vargas, who are all educators.
All right.
Yes.
Board, let's make this official. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
you very
None?
much.
All right, both plus 4-0.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
Stacy.
Congratulations, and I noticed the family is very well coordinated tonight.
Yeah. All right.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
Celebration High School colors, in case you're wondering.
I'm hearing a lot of celebration, a lot of St. Cloud tonight. I don't know.
And now, Chairman Soto, it's my pleasure to welcome Marianne Rodriguez Perez to the podium. Ms. Rodriguez, as you know, has been our fantastic principal at Boggy Creek Elementary School. She has also served as teacher in Puerto Rico, as well as here at Reedy Creek and Deerwood Elementary School. She's been an ESOL compliance specialist assistant principal at both Deerwood and Chestnut and Boggy Creek, and currently has been the principal since 2009, bringing that school grade to an A, which we're very proud of. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary ed from the University of Puerto Rico and a master's degree in educational leadership from National Louis, and it is my recommendation that she become our Director of Early Childhood and Extended Day Program, working hand in hand until Ms. Buckingham retires in February, but also carrying on and bringing forward a new tradition of expanding and dual language in our VPK programs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Booth, second by Mr. Wheeler. Discussion. None?
Congratulations.
Yes.
You know how I feel about you, and I'm so excited about what you're going to be doing.
All I can say is it looks like Dr. Pace she's got a great team. This is like a dream team you're putting together, so it's awesome.
All right. Board, all those in favor, please state aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Vote passes 4-0. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Introduce your family. I know one of my favorite family members of yours in the back as well. So
I have my sister, my daughter, my son, my husband, and some of my Boggy Creek people are here also.
Yeah.
great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Finally, Chairman Soto, just very quickly, while he can't be with us tonight because he's on an advanced ed accreditation visit, I will be recommending for your approval tonight Mr. Peter Straker as administrator on assignment. He will be in a lateral position, keeping his assistant principal role, but moving into our research and evaluation and accountability department to take over some of the accreditation and school improvement responsibilities that Ms. Clayton has held.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Weissier, second by Mr. Wheeler.
And I know Dr. Straker's not here. I've worked closely with him. This is a great fit for him. He is a data freak, and he loves crunching numbers, and he loves computers, and he's good at it. So this is a
Well, as you know, we have accreditation coming up just next year, so we knew it was very important that we had someone to carry that torch.
Oh, yeah, he'll do great.
All right, let's hear it, board.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? 4-0. Vote passes 4-0. Is that it?
I'm finished, yes, thank you.
Is that it? Okay, good. Wow, we're ready for more. Let's see.
All welcome
Yes,
to-
at this
you're all
time-
welcome to stay.
Yes.
But you
No,
don't
no.
have to.
Don't listen to Mr. Wheeler. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, yeah. No, I already said it. I declared that this is not proper.
I know, I know.
Hell no. I can't, she needs to read it herself. Nobody can read it for her. It impugns credibility that it's not a.
Cavaney, I thought you got adopted back there as part of the family. They're just going right down the line. I thought they were coming to you two next, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because if anybody reads it, I thought she can't do it. Yeah, no, no. I don't know. Yeah. Blaming the main guy. Continue.
Blaming what on him?
Folks, I'm just waiting for the doors to close. That's all. Don't worry. We're going to get this done tonight.
Party outside.
Yeah. It's a party, all right. Right. No. I'm waiting on the door and on you.
There we go.
We're waiting on everyone. Public comments are very important. We reached that point of our agenda. I'm going to go ahead and call for public comments in no particular order. I'm going to start with Mr. Gail Noe. No? Miss Gail Noe.
Gail Noe.
You know, I have a very good friend, gentleman named Gail. So, I don't know if it's
Spell it Gayle.
I don't know how it's spelled. It's someone I know from court.
My name is Gail Noy. I live at 3410 Salina Circle, St. Cloud. What I have to say is that I'm a teacher here in the district, and I've been teaching for 14 years. When I started teaching, I was given a pay scale, a step schedule that showed about how much we would be making and increases that I would get as I worked here in Osceola County. That hasn't happened. We've been given a heavier workload, and we don't get a whole lot of compensation for what we do. Many of us work after school, before school, weekends to get done what's expected. I understood when I started teaching there would be a lot of times, there would be times when I would have to work extra hours. I understand that. However, I also understood that I wasn't going to be rich becoming a teacher, but I also thought that I would be at least getting pay increases to keep up with the rising cost of living. I'm a single parent. I'm now faced with probably having to get a second job. I'm raising a daughter myself. I don't live high on the hog. I don't go on cruises and don't do that kind of stuff. I can't afford that. But I'm really frustrated. It's just everything's getting more expensive and my pay's not. I went to college so I wouldn't have to work two jobs. Never thought that it would come to this. And well, the time has come. And what I can tell you is that many of my fellow colleagues have already left the profession, either the profession period or they just left for other counties that pay better. And we're one of the lower paying counties in Central Florida. I don't know if you were aware of that. And people are leaving this profession by the droves, really. And I don't think this is very good news for our kids in Osceola County. I think it's, pretty sad. And I think if we want to go from good to great, I'm with you on that. I think we need to be great. We're good. We can be a lot better. But I do think that we need to keep our great teachers here. And in order to do that, you really do need to pay them a little more. And I'm just asking you to have a little compassion for us and the hard work that we really do. I work down in the trenches with these kids every day. I teach second grade every day. Love them to death. They're a lot of fun, but they're a lot of work. And it takes time away from my family, the extra work that I have to do. And it would just be nice if I could get a little compensation And thank you for listening so much.
Ms. Noe,
Yeah.
can you just indulge me for just a moment? If I'm to understand your comments, and by the way, thank you very much I know it takes a lot of courage, or at least some courage to come up here and
It does.
podium, and I appreciate that. Here's what I want to see if I understand. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, could I make a recommendation to you? You are currently at impasse, and you have a bargaining team that represents you in that bargaining. I have my wife's a teacher, I have the greatest respect for teachers, et cetera. This is part and parcel of the whole bargaining process. And given what's going on, other than you're acknowledging the comments and respectfully getting into a dialogue regarding what you can and can't do or why you can and can't do it really isn't an appropriate thing at this point. And so I would recommend to you all respectfully acknowledging what's said. I think it's very clear how much you appreciate teachers and how you're wrestling with everything, but as it relates to the guts of what you can or can't offer, or what you can and can't do and why, is something that will be dealt with by the bargaining team, and ultimately, if they're unable to resolve it, will be dealt with you in a formal hearing.
Mr. Grupenbecker, I appreciate that, you're thinking ahead, and I understand as board attorney, you want to anticipate to prevent an issue. I was you could be safe about what I'm going to be asking. It has nothing to do with that. But I appreciate it. I just wanted to understand what your comment was, basically, is that when you started with the district, you thought you had a promise that it's now been changed, correct?
Yeah,
what it boils down to? Okay.
We were all presented with a pay scale. We don't.
And that's changed.
Well, a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it's my pay is not really going up, and the cost of living is going up. It's expensive.
Again, I appreciate your comments. Is that okay?
No, that's perfect. That's why. Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank
comments. I just didn't want you to get further.
No,
than that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Noe. Public comments next. Tamara Pelk. I'm sorry if I don't. Is it Pel?
It's Tamara Pelk.
It's Pelk. It's a K.
Pelk. Pelc with a C.
Oh, with a C. All right.
No worries.
Ma'am, thank you so much. Please.
Tamara Pelk, 1845 Roper Road, St. Cloud, Florida, 34771. Good evening, Dr. Pace and members of the board. All right, you got to bear with me here as I read this from my cell phone, as I don't have my printed copy. But I'm here tonight as a parent advocating for our teachers and the need for salary increases. However, I'm coming from a parent perspective, so a little bit different than your educators, and I'm nervous. Our educational system is changing rapidly, and every year it seems that the state and the county demand more and more, not just from our students, but also our educators, our teachers, the people in our classrooms. As a parent, I'm very frustrated with the direction our educational system is headed, and it seems like no matter how many emails, phone calls, and letters I send expressing my concerns, no one listens at the state and federal level. So as you imagine, I feel defeated sometimes as a parent. However, over the last year and a half, I've really come to realize that even with all the crazy testing schedules, EOCs, the changes in the curriculums, it's the teachers in my children's classroom that make the biggest impact on them. My 2 children have been blessed to have some of the best teachers that I know, and they deserve a raise. I keep hearing the district say from good to great, building a legacy. I think in order to achieve that, your first priority should be investing in your teachers, because you can build schools with the latest technology and offer a variety of choice programs, but in reality, none of those things will matter if you can't hire and retain teachers who teach because it's their passion, it's what they love to do. I don't want a warm body standing up in the front of my child's classroom. I want someone who wants to teach. I want someone who gets just as excited as my child when he gets it. I want someone who sees my child as an individual and not as a score. I want someone who will continue to help my child embrace learning in spite of all of the things that are handed down from the state and district level. And let me tell you, that is pretty darn hard to do these days. So as a parent, I'm asking that you rethink your priorities, because teacher salaries should be first on that list. Because if you can't retain the amazing teachers that we have right here, right now in Osceola County, it won't matter, if you can't retain the teachers that we have right now and attract teachers who want to stay and make Osceola County their home, then having schools with the latest technology and STEM programs won't matter. If you fail to reevaluate your priorities, you have not only set yourself up for failure, but you have set our kids up and our community up for failure as well. So I'm asking you to give them the raises that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We have an open for public comment request from Robert Moshe.
Good evening, Dr. Pace and members of the board. My name is Robert Mouche. I'm a math teacher at Celebration High School. I have been at Celebration for the past 11 years, and I have taught for a total of 23 years. Some of my accomplishments are as follows. I was named Teacher of the Year by my peers in 2011. My classroom has been set up as a model classroom several times. Some of my practices have been shared by Marzano as far away as Australia. I have conducted geometry workshops for this county to help the teachers of this county. I have mentored several teachers over the years. Most every high school principal got to observe one of my lessons this year. Schools have sent teachers to observe my techniques. I have taught during my planning period 9 out of the last 11 years. I have taught summer school the past 10 years. Recently, I developed a boot camp program to help seniors and juniors pass the PERT. Currently, over 80% of the students who take my camp pass the PERT in order to fulfill their Algebra 1 requirement. Our school now has only 31 seniors out of 506 who have not passed the Algebra 1 requirement thanks to this program. Of course, I could go on, but I need to address our salary situation. Even all the hard work I do for the students of this county, I feel like I'm being cheated. In 2007, here's a 2007 salary schedule. A teacher with 22 years of experience made $6,000 more than I am making right now with 22 years. How did y'all let this happen? In 2013, salary schedule, a teacher with 22 years of experience made $7,400 more than I'm making right now. I have calculated by not paying me what a teacher made in 2007, 10 years ago. For the past 3 years, my salary has been cut around $16,000. Earlier, the board proposed an average of a little over 1% to the teachers of this county. If this is all you offered each year, it will take to my 32nd year teaching in order to reach the salary of a 20-year teacher in 2007. This is very sad. I would like you, the board, to reflect what it would be like to take a $6,000 a year salary cut. Put yourself in my shoes. Why did a teacher 10 years ago, with the exact number of years of experience I have now, make such more than I do today? Until you treat me equally as a teacher 10 years ago was treated, I will continue to write each and every one of you and complain about this poor salary situation, especially for these veteran teachers of this county. And I'm a good teacher, and I feel like I'm treated unfairly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, so that was it for the public comments. We don't have any other public comments? Anybody with a yellow sheet? No? We're good. Next, we're up to the consent agenda, board.
No, I have
I'm sorry.
agenda modifications.
No, before that, there's an agenda modification. Anyone? Mr. Wheeler?
I'd like to add to the back to the, under unfinished business, Avant-Garde Charter School.
Unfinished
You didn't
business.
bring them all here, did you?
No, I didn't bring them all here.
I'd like to add, if it's okay, for a brief discussion, cyberbullying.
Okay. Cyberbullying. I don't have any.
Under new business.
Mr. Weissire?
I would be Point Santa High School and Habitat for Humanity.
Under new business, unfinished business.
Yeah.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
Dr. Pace?
We have the blue sheet for the proclamation, sir,
Okay. Well, we already did that.
We already did that.
just so it's noted in the agenda.
Okay. Mr. Krupenbacher?
No, sir.
That brings us to the consent
Motion
agenda.
to approve.
Second.
All right, so on the consent agenda, there's a motion to approve by Mr. Ricky Booth, a second by Mr. Wheeler. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes 4-0.
On the regular agenda, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion to approve under Roman numeral 7, items A and B as submitted.
All right, regular agenda, under 7, items A and B, motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Booth. Board, any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, state no. Motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Chairman, under Roman numeral 8, before we go to this, I contacted Dr. Pace and I've talked with Dr. Fritz. I'd like, Dr. Fritz, if you could just give us a brief overview of what this is, that'd be great, what this does for kids.
I'd be thrilled to. This is one of the programs that I'm extremely proud with our TICO expansion. Those of you who've been able to visit TICO over the last few months have definitely noticed that there's some things kicked in high gear. And one of the things that have been kicked in high gear is that internship opportunities for our current students. And so this resolution, through a company called Rude Dog, its real name is Premium Laser Specialties. And with that opportunity, our students in the design program are going to get to go out for a minimum of 12 hours, but a maximum of 40. They'll work somewhere in between that to get real applicable experience in the field. And what's really cool about that, this is just one program. We have hundreds of partnerships with businesses. Just to name a few, Florida Hospital, St. Cloud Regional Hospital, the Sheriff's Department, Walgreens, Lake City Institute of Neurology, Orlando Family Medical, and the City of Kissimmee's Parks. Some of the programs where our students actually go out, culinary arts, legal administrative assistant, medical coding. This program we're very, very excited about because the enrollment has continued to increase to the point where we're at now that we have students that are on a waiting list that we're looking at expanding the program. That's
great.
Motion to approve.
Second. Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Regular agenda item under Roman numeral 8.
Item C.
Item C.
Motion to
Motion to approve by Mr. Ricky Booth, second by Mr. Wheeler. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes 4-0.
Under Roman numeral 10, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve items D and E as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion to approve items under Human Resources, a regular agenda item D and E. Motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Ricky Booth. All those, any discussion, board? Okay, all those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, state no. Motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Chairman, under Roman numeral 11, I'll make a motion to approve items F through K as submitted.
Second.
All right. Agenda item under 9, Business and Finance, items letter F through
K.
K. Motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by...
Under Roman numeral 11, not 9, Mr. Chairman.
I stand corrected. Number 9.
11.
Number 11. Number 11.
The I is on the other side of the X.
What were the letters again, Mr. Wheeler?
It's 11, items F through K is submitted.
F through K as submitted.
Accept that.
Motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Whitesire. Any discussion?
Negative.
No. Okay, board, all those in favor, please state aye.
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 Opposed, state no. Motion to approve passes
Mr.
4-0.
Mr. Chairman, under Information and Technology Services, I'd like to make a motion to approve item L.
Second.
All right, Information Technology Services, item L, motion to approve by Mr. Booth, second by Mr. Whitesire. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, state no. Passes 4-0.
Mr. Chairman, under Roman numeral 13, I'll make a motion to approve items M and N as submitted.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Under Facilities, items M and N, motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Ricky Booth. Any discussion, board? No? All right, all those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Motion passes 4-0.
Did you say no?
No, I did not. It's just, under Roman numeral 14, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve O as submitted.
Second.
All right, for school operations, item O, motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Whitesire. Any discussion? No? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No? Motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Chairman, under Roman numeral 17, Superintendent's update, I'll make a motion to approve item P as submitted.
Second.
All right, superintendent's update, item P, motion to approve by Mr. Wheeler, second by Mr. Booth. Discussion, board? Okay. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, state no. Motion passes 4-0. So what does that bring us to?
Unfinished business, avant-garde.
Unfinished business. Wheeler, you're first.
I brought, Avant-Garde was a charter school that I brought up because they did poorly last year, and Dr. Pace and I went out there last week to visit with the new principal, Ms. Chapman, and to take a tour. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Pace. Please give us an update relative to where we are, where things are, et cetera.
Yes, Mr. Wheeler and I had an opportunity with Dr. Esposito to spend some time with Ms. Chapman, the new principal at Avant-Garde. She is a proven turnaround principal from Detroit, and she has been able to bring in some key staff members, including a new assistant principal who is experienced and also been a partner in the turnaround work. They've already made some adjustments in staffing and curriculum and are really working hard to improve the teaching and learning at Avant-Garde. So I was much encouraged by the work that we observed and the support that she's getting from the management company and that we're also providing to her on our end. So much encouraged.
But Dr. Pace, one thing we did discuss is that they did poorly last year. And state statute dictates that even if we think they're on the right track, if they do poorly, we got to pull the charter. Is that correct?
That is correct. They were in F, and I will remind the board it's a very low F. And it is the first week of February, and we're just now starting to see those kinds of improvements since she took over the school right before the Christmas holidays. So they are doing good work. I do remain cautious regarding the amount of time that's been lost, but hopeful. I know she's working very hard to try to do the right work.
And we'd like them to be successful. And in fairness, I mean, I appreciate going out there with Dr. Pace. I was impressed by Ms. Chapman. I really was. I mean, to your point, though, she got in the game late, and she's got a real struggle climbing up that hill. But she is doing a lot of things right, and she was very impressive. I mean, she knows quality instruction versus what's not quality instruction.
So, Mr. Wheeler, have you visited the school since?
I was out there with Dr. Pace last week.
Okay, that was it. All right.
We were out there last week.
All right.
Come on, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, man.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
So, just to clarify, I mean, I know double F requirement.
They
pull in
close,
charter.
they're automatically closed.
What about F and D also? That was my next question. F and D?
No, if they
That would
improve the
be our
grade to a D,
decision?
it's our decision.
Okay.
But that would be an R decision one then, FD. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That was Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Anything else, Mr. Wheeler? All right, so let's move on to new business. I have two items. Mr. Booth, you were first. cyberbullying or something like that?
Over the past year or two since I've been serving on the board, there's been several instances where things have happened, mainly fights at school where children have videoed themselves, videoed fighting. And actually, I think you could divide it up in what I would call I guess for lack of a better term, a sucker punch or ambush attacks versus an actual filming of a fight. I worked with John Boyd a little bit earlier this week, and I had a brief discussion with Dr. Pace about I'd really like to see us. I'd really like to see these kids punished, especially on the ambush attack side. If they're standing there with the camera, and I know we have some things in policy. Talking with Dr. Boyd, or talking with Mr. Boyd and Dr. Pace about these things, but I'd just like a little more clarification on what we're doing as a district and maybe a discussion with the board. I'd really like to see us focus. These kids are getting into some embarrassing situations that are then being put onto YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever, Snapchat, whatever. I guess that goes away, but that shows you how much I know.
Never goes away.
But once you put it out there, it just doesn't go away. And I know this is the new norm, but if it's happening on one of our campuses and there's something we can do about it, I, for one, would like to see us take some pretty aggressive action against these students that are doing this and make sure that kids standing around video and stuff like that, especially on the ambush attack side, that we really heavily punish them. And I don't know if the board has anything else to say about that.
I tend to agree with where you're at, and I'm looking forward to hearing some comments, whether it's from council, superintendent, or otherwise.
I agree with you, Rick.
Mr. Krevenbacher,
I've always taken a very aggressive approach on this, such that if kids use the internet to plan things at school, or they go on the internet while at school and promulgate stuff, I take the position the district has jurisdiction over that kid.
Absolutely.
And so I think I'd leave it to Dr. Pace and her staff to say these are the type disciplines we think are appropriate, because they're the educators. But I can tell you legally, you have an attorney who pushes the limit on that issue, and I don't buy somehow they're at home and it doesn't matter. If they're out there and I can tie it in any way to that school and they're doing damage, I will look to back a superintendent and principal and say, you have jurisdiction to deal with their conduct.
And I guess where I'm going, if you wouldn't mind, Dr. Pace, just real briefly so you know where I'm coming from. I mean, I know we have harassment under cyberbullying, and I know what I'm talking about is actually included in the framework. But it's almost like it needs to be better spelled out, if that makes sense, and also better communicated to the kids, and then also more aggressively investigated. So I think it's, even though, sometimes we may not know who exactly uploaded it, usually it's pretty easy to find out whose phone that was filming something, just with a brief investigation. I mean, not always, I understand, but that's kind of where I'm coming. I know it's in here, and technically we can do it, but maybe we need to spell it out a little bit better.
Well, I think communication may be key there, Mr. Booth, as you indicated, both for our school administrative teams as well as to our students and their families about how seriously this board and I as a superintendent are going to take these types of actions. And that's the direction that I will work with Mr. Phelps and our assistant superintendents to make sure that we're communicating. Our student code of conduct is very clear that this is harassment, cyberbullying, and the consequences are optional depending on what actually happens, from short-term suspension to long-term suspension to potentially a recommendation for expulsion. And I just think the message that I'm hearing from you as a board today, that we will then take and communicate back to staff and work with Dana to communicate to students and families, is that this is something that we're going to take very, very seriously, and that the consequences will be significant.
I would appreciate that. I've seen some really horrible situations the last 3 years that are really going to affect kids for the rest of their lives. And, I know this is the new norm with the microphone's always on, the camera's always running. That's what they usually say to politicians, but now it's almost true for everyone that's walking around. You're being filmed, you're being recorded. And but on our school and I'm not talking about outside, because I know there's some gray area there, and I don't even want to get involved in that. But on our school campuses, if kids are doing that, especially in the ambush style, I'd like to see them punished heavily enough.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Point well made.
I think Mr. Weiser, you're next.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Booth, I agree with you. I appreciate you bringing this up, and this is a concern. It's a societal issue that is becoming way too prevalent I'm sure across the globe, but certainly across our nation. Dr. Pace, you hit on what I was going to touch on, which is it's going to be really important that we understand how we're going to be communicating this out to the community. I think everybody, for the most part, and I'm making an assumption here, but for the most part knows that those type of things aren't good, aren't normal, aren't appropriate. I think there's an innate human nature in us that we know that doing those type of things aren't there, but yet we know so many times people choose to do it anyway. And I think we've got to be really intentional about how we're going to make sure that we get this word out to families and students so that as we do look at the enforcement of these type of policies, and I think greater clarity surrounding these policies, we're not left with a lot of question marks from our constituents as well about, well, I didn't know I was going to be punished for this. I didn't know if I wasn't the one that was in the fight that it was a bad thing. I didn't know. So that's going to be a key piece. I'd like to hear how you guys envision rolling the communication piece of this out across the schools and across the community, and report back on that before we start getting too far down the road on this. I want to understand that piece first.
Absolutely. We'll bring something back to the board.
Thank you.
I've got a question for
Mr. Wheeler.
for the board and for Mr. Kruppenbach. I mean, Ricky, the scenario that you have described, an ambush or a sucker punch, we're talking about somebody who's being violent. We're not talking about some prank where they put a whoopee cushion on a chair. We're talking about violence. We're talking about battery. Okay.
Well, but hold on, Jay. I'm not actually talking. We know who's committing
No,
the
I
act.
understand. Let
I'm
me
talking about
finish.
the person with
Right.
the camera.
And if that person is using that video for something other than turning it over to law enforcement, if they're turning it over to law enforcement or the principal to say, here, this is what happened, you got it, and they're just using it for that purpose, I get that. But if they're uploading it, they're complicit. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, isn't there something from a legal perspective, if there is somebody who is in some manner videotaping or recording on their phone a fight or a sucker punch, and then they're putting it on the internet, and they're not turning it over to law enforcement, they're not turning it over to the principal, from a legal perspective, aren't they somehow an accessory to battery?
All right, so.
Wait, I'm asking Mr. Kruppenbacher a question.
Well, it's also his turn to speak anyways. Mr. Kruppenbacher.
Your chance of getting that conviction are going to be very, very difficult.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't know. That's
Unless you can produce evidence that shows they were
premeditated. They were
conspiring. One of the things I used to have luck with, and I'll get with Dr. Pace on it, I don't know if we're doing it, when we found a student misusing the internet, as a lawyer, I'd write the carrier, and we would frequently get the carriers turning around and saying, you violated our rules, you no longer have service. And when kids started to hear they weren't going to have internet service, they started. So when we talk, Dr. Pace, we'll see if that's still something, but they were very responsive, I can tell you, Bright House, Verizon, and all of them, when we brought something to their attention that where their service was being used to do damage. They wanted no part of it.
Okay.
So
now we're talking.
Yeah.
So I think it's just banning it about, but Dr. Pace and her staff have a good handle on this, and I think you do have to be aggressive because this can steamroll. I saw it happen at a school. It just went out of control overnight.
Here's, if I may jump in just a little bit, because if I may voice at least, I'm not being devil's advocate actually. I really have some concerns about, how things are being discussed here. Because on the one hand, I can actually see perfectly innocent behavior being punished. And so I understand what your goal is. In other words, there comes a point where cyberbullying does occur, and that is the publishing of this video. Now, this video could have been made as part of just a setup, or it could have been just one of those incidences where like, oh man, I see something happening, let me just take out the phone and record it.
I don't like that either, but I think the other one's worse.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about there's no question about the first one, but in the second one, I understand is that you require the requirement that it be published, and that it causes some kind of harassment is required, and from my understanding, our current rules cover that scenario. So I'm just trying to see How much further are you looking to go, Mr.
They
Booth?
do. I think it's more about, I think, and Mr. Weishauer hit on it, it's more about the communication piece and the aggressive. What I've heard, just speaking with some folks about this, is that, well, we don't have the time to actually go find out who actually took the video. It's just too exhausting of effort to get that. And I actually understand that. I mean, our teachers, our administrators are really busy. I get that. But I think we've got to put something in place, and I don't think it would take long to put this in place and make some examples of some situations for this to be very clear to the students in our schools that this will not be tolerated.
Mr. Chairman, what you don't want to back into is there is a First Amendment right to express yourself. And I think I've always seen principals have the judgment and discretion to know what is innocent and what is where somebody's crossed the line. And I think,
Mr. Kruperbacher, what I'm trying to say is that some of this sounds like, and it could be misinterpreted as like, hey, this board wants to pass a rule because they don't want what's going on in the schools to be seen by outsiders. For example, is there any kind of public interest to know that these fights are happening, and does it or does it not video, give that information accurately?
remember, a student has a right to privacy.
So basically is that you understand what inchoate crimes are.
Yes.
Right. So basically what we're looking for is we're trying to get into some kind of, evil intent in the mind of the person that's publishing it, and we don't really know what that is. So,
well,
other than showing that the video was taken as part of the incident, I just don't see how, that's a violation of any rule, as much as distasteful as I find it, to be publishing that in Facebook or things like that.
It's already a violation of the
Right.
policies we have in place.
Ed, my only answer to it, and I think you appreciate this as a lawyer, is every one of these is fact-driven. You've got to look at the facts and say exactly what happened, and then look at, okay, if there is a video, who did it? Was it just somebody witnessing it? And was this part of the same, quote, clique and the sucker punch, et cetera? So I think there's a rule that says we can hold you accountable if you fall within these parameters, and then you have to really use your judgment and discretion. And I think the one thing I've learned over the years is your principals, they've seen it all.
They know.
And they can smell it, they can see it,
Come back with something.
and I just want to be able to say legally, you're armed to deal with it, and your legal staff will back you.
We'll see what they come up with.
Big thing is it's about creating a culture.
Yes.
That's really what we're talking about here, is creating a culture that we're not celebrating and sharing and promoting violent behavior amongst our student body. That's really what it's about.
I agree. Is this the right way of going about that? And that's where the question really comes to mind. I see your goals, your policy goals, but it's just too quick to go ahead and create a new system of punishment and just say, okay, this is how we're going to solve it. Look, I know it's easy. I know it sounds good. It's very attractive. But it's seldom, but it doesn't always work out. And I've seen this.
I
and
wouldn't disagree with that.
And
I
so,
still want to see
and
it
so,
punished.
and so when I listen
It's a right
to,
from wrong.
so when I listen to Mr. Weishauer, and that's really the policy goal, is like, hey, you know what, we see the dangers that this does with the disruption. Not only that, but, we want to raise, these children are not just learning, they're also being socialized as we go along, and that's a behavior that we don't want to. But I'm going to tell you right now, just creating this rule and say we're going to punish you, it just doesn't work. I've seen that fail at the grand scale. I could predict it will fail on the small scale like we're
Come on,
trying
we
to
already
do.
have the rule. It's actually talking about the enforcement mechanism and that part of it.
Yeah, but something could be done probably, internally to just send the message out, maybe with parents through our newsletter that we're going to be publishing pretty soon. We're gonna have more access, with media, social media. This is ripe for individual board members and the board as a whole to say, hey, you know what? Here's what this is what our collective wisdom says about these issues. Parents, help us here. That I think is a better approach. Those are just my 2 cents.
I think we
we
have the same
agree.
approach, yeah.
I think we all agree.
Mr. Kuppenbacher.
Not having read it, I would tell you that I'd be willing to bet that the current policy and rule you has covers you. This is all about the implementation of the communication and impressing upon young people the difference between right and wrong and the fact that you're going to be held accountable. That's what I'm hearing right now, and I think we just, under Dr. Pace's lead, need to lay out how is that communicated, and the administrators need to know you do have authority to deal with. I mean, we had a number of administrators who didn't think they could deal with some of this stuff here.
I like the idea of contacting Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whoever it is, and just, hey, you know, you no longer have service. That'll wake these kids up. That'll get their attention.
Before we get there, I'm looking forward to the communication piece first.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so,
No, Ricky, you're great.
board,
I'm
staff,
good to
Dr.
me.
Pace,
I have direction, sir.
okay, very well. Yes, Habitat for Humanity, Mr. Weissire.
Thank you. I have a question, and I was just going to talk to you offline about it, but I thought it actually would probably be beneficial for all of us. In a separate conversation, Habitat for Humanity mentioned to me that they had the opportunity and the desire for Poinciana High School students to participate hands-on, somewhat similar to what we're doing with our construction pipeline program, on being able to be on a job site to help rebuild a home that was actually caught fire on a family and all of that. And as I was kind of hearing about it, I started kind of going through my mind the questions, transportation, liability, class time, all the mechanics of that. And I thought I would benefit, maybe even the board as a whole would benefit from, as these opportunities present themselves. And I haven't spoken with Mr. Inwood about it. It just kind of came up, and I thought this is an interesting question. How would we deal with something like that, and what are the challenges and difficulties that you or Mr. Inwood or anybody in our district would face as these type of things come along?
It's certainly something that Dr. Fritz and Dr. Reinhardt will explore with the staff. We would want to double check with Mr. DeBoard, our Director of Risk, just to make sure from a legal standpoint, a risk standpoint, that we would be covered. But I could imagine that we would treat it very much like a field trip, and even perhaps allow the students to earn the volunteer hours that go along with a Habitat for Humanity project. But let us do some investigation, and we'll get back with you.
Sounds good. And just so you know, for context, my understanding of it and speaking with Habitat, it's not just a one-time thing, come out, work for an hour, and great. It would be something that they'd be able to continue to work through with skilled trades on site. They're not going to get better experience in what it is that they're being taught day in and day out than an opportunity like that.
And Dr. Fitz was kind of whispering in my ear, I believe that Mr. Ott at TICO is already looking at something like that as well with the construction classes there.
Great.
So let us do some more exploring and get back to you.
Thank you. That's it, board.
I was just going to say that I've had the opportunity to work on some Habitat homes, and it's fantastic. So whatever we can do to get our kids there, let's do it. And I'm sure Mr. Krumpenbacher probably has some expertise in that. So.
We can do it.
There we go.
All right. Let's see, board member, I think we have to adjourn now for an executive session.
Recess, right?
We're going to recess for executive session. All right, so let's recess.
Okay.
We're done, man. That's right, we got an executive session.